family. I'm so excited to be here today with Pastor Jeremy.
Thanks.
We've been talking about the goodness of God and all that God is doing here at RPC. We just celebrated Easter and the resurrection, and we're so thankful for that. And so Pastor Jeremy's come on today to share a testimony about the goodness of God and just how faithful the Lord has been in his life.
Yes, and he has been faithful, Rachel.
Yeah.
I think about when you said testimony, when you asked me to do this, I was thinking about all this time. I always felt bad. I never had like a good testimony, I always thought, because, I had those friends that were building their testimony and going out and doing things that, building that testimony, as they say. But I wasn't that kind of, I'd always been, of course, I was raised under a God-fearing home. So my dad, if I ever thought about doing something wrong, he'd whip my tail real quick. So I had a healthy fear already.
Yeah.
But I also was always very sensitive, tender to the Lord. I was thinking about that this morning, how, I always wanted to serve the Lord. Doesn't mean I wasn't perfect. I messed up. Lord knows I still mess up. I'm thankful for his grace and his mercy, but he has been faithful. He's kept me. He's watched over me. He's just always had his hand on my life. And I just want to encourage somebody today. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, that in the midst of your trials, in the midst of anything that you're going through, God is there. He's with you. He's faithful. You may feel like that God's a million miles away. I'll never forget, and I always tell this story, that when after Ashley had passed away, I was coming back to church for that first Wednesday back. I'd been out for several months, just going through that morning and all that stuff. And I remember I was driving to church, and I was just like, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. I was just kind of in a fog. And I remember it was right after the new year, so 2020. Was the year. Little did we know all that was going to happen. But everyone at the beginning of 2020, they were saying, God, it's 2020, the year of vision.
Yep.
And I remember I kept saying, I was driving in the car and I said, God, I got no vision. I don't have nothing. And I remember in that moment, I hadn't heard from the Lord, I felt like, in forever. I felt like my prayers were hitting a brass ceiling and falling back in my lap.
Yeah.
But, and I remember I just hearing the Holy Spirit whisper, say, when you have no vision, that's when you have to lean and rely. And then from that moment on, I've been like, you're right, Lord. And I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that you're already gone before me and you're faithful. And I'm going to lean on you and I'm going to rely on you. And the Lord has been faithful. He's been good. Doesn't mean that there hasn't been storms and things, but even in the midst of the storms, he's still there with us, and he's been and he'll be with you. So I want to encourage you today. You may feel like your prayers are hitting the brass ceiling and falling in your lap like I had so many times. But God hears your prayers. He knows where you are. He is faithful. Stay focused on him. Lean on him, rely on him, and he will see you through. So I just want to encourage somebody with that.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And we've been through a lot of grief, and I share that, being through a lot of grief. And it's interesting to see how the Lord is just with us in those moments, even in our darkest moments when we go through just difficult times, how faithful it is. And we may not, like you said, we may not see it in that moment. In that moment, we can get overcome by things that we're dealing with, but how God is faithful, God is sovereign. And even looking back now, I'm sure you can see how the Lord has just ordered your steps and guided you and brought you to the place that you're at today.
Absolutely.
Just the goodness of the Lord in our life. And so we just really hope that this encourages you today, that you can hear this testimony, and you'll be hearing others on our Know to Grow series, just about the goodness of God, how faithful God is in our life. And that's just a great word. Great word, Pastor Jeremy.
Stay focused. Keep your eyes on him.
Good word. All right. Have a great day.